I am obsessed. I'm obsessed with a manga called Boku no Hero Academia, or more commonly known as My Hero Academia. It is a manga that has seemingly come out of nowhere and has left me completely enthralled. I love the characters, the world, and the story of young Midoriya, but just what is it that makes this small little manga so fucking awesome? Why has the story of young Deku risen against all the odds and is slowly becoming a pop culture phenomenon? Today, we're going to find out just what it is that makes both the anime and the manga of My Hero Academia just so fucking great. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Hardcover Reviews, and today we're going to find out why My Hero Academia is just so awesome. My Hero Academia is the creation of Kohei Horikoshi and centers around the character of Izuku Midoriya. Midoriya lives in a world where over 80% of the population has superpowers, or as they are referred to as quirks. Midoriya's goal from the start of the manga is to be the greatest hero of all time, like his hero All Might. What we have here is the start of a traditional shonen trope. In most shonen manga, the hero proclaims that they want to be the greatest at something. Luffy wants to be the greatest pirate, Ash wants to be the greatest Pokemon master, and Gon wants to be the greatest hunter, etc, etc, etc. Unfortunately, Izuku is one of the 20% in the world that lacks a quirk. It's a story that we love seeing, a story of someone who defies all the odds and expectations and is slowly rising up and becoming something greater. You see, throughout the first few volumes of My Hero Academia, we see Midoriya's doctors and his friends say that because he lacks a quirk, he can't become a hero. Yet none of these things really deter Midoriya from wanting to become one. It's this unflinching will and this unbreakable spirit to go against what everyone says that draws us in and makes us root for the character. The first thing that really does this and really pulls at the heartstrings is when we first discover that young Midoriya will never develop powers. Before this happens, we see Midoriya as a child constantly watching his favorite hero All Might on the computer, wanting nothing more than to just be like him. How many times as children did we do the same thing? We all remember a time when we looked at Spider-Man or Goku or any one of our childhood heroes and loved to see them take on some of the most terrible monsters. Which makes it all the more heartbreaking when we see him in the hospital only to realize that he is normal. You then compound this with the fact that we then see his mother crying next to him without the heart to tell him that he will in fact always be without a quirk. And we have the perfect setup for our underdog story. Eventually, through happenstance, Midoriya is able to meet his favorite hero All Might and is given a piece of his power. However, like all great hero stories, Midoriya actually has to work for it. You see, Midoriya wants to get into the prestigious Hero Academy, but he has to first qualify for the school by passing the entrance exam, and All Might won't give him a piece of his power until Midoriya trains up his body to be able to handle the strain. Once again, what we have here is an underdog story trope, where the protagonist has to work his way up to greatness. Midoriya isn't like Superman or the rest of the population in this world. He has to really work for all of his goals, which makes every single moment when he is victorious that much greater to us the reader. So it's no secret that if you have a shonen anime / manga, at some point you have to have what's deemed a tournament arc. Hunter x Hunter has the Heaven's Arena arc, Naruto has the Chunin exams, and basically all sports manga and animes are just one giant tournament arc. It's a trope that is tried and true, and if you have a shonen style manga and anime, you will have a tournament arc. Tournament arcs are great for a number of reasons. For starters, it allows the mangaka to create new rivals and re-establish characters in a new light. For example, we have the side character of Ochako. Ochako appears early on in My Hero Academia, but it isn't until the tournament arc that we understand why she is so driven to become a hero. We find out that she wants nothing more than to give her working parents a more comfortable life. A lofty goal that we don't discover until she is about to face Bakugo. Perhaps the character that benefits the most though from the tournament arc is Todoroki. Throughout the first few chapters of the manga, we learn that the sullen and quiet Todoroki is a powerful character, but that's about it. It really isn't until the tournament arc we start to develop the triple rivalry of Todoroki, Bakugo, and Midoriya. Not only that, but we start to really get a great look at Todoroki's tragic backstory involving his mother. We find out that Todoroki's mother was forced into a marriage with Engine, the number 2 superhero in the world, in the hopes of breeding a hero that at some point in the future will be stronger than All Might. When Todoroki was a child, his father would push him too hard and his mom would step in only to have Engine physically abuse her. This leads to Todoroki only using his ice powers and neglecting his father's fire abilities as a way of rejecting him. All of this information is conveyed in a flashback scene before Todoroki ends up going against the hero Midoriya. What this moment intends to do is to add weight to the fight that's coming up, and it succeeds in spades. During the Midoriya vs Todoroki fight, we end up rooting for both, but Midoriya ends up doing something unexpected. You see, Midoriya ends up pushing Todoroki to use his father's powers in an attempt to have the character overcome the anger that he has for him. Ultimately, the fight isn't about who wins or loses, but about saving Todoroki. It's this moment of drama that is at the heart of this battle, and part of the reason why it will resonate for fans for a long time. Every single fight in My Hero Academia has heart and serves to do a number of things. For starters, they serve to further not only the story along, but to develop the characters. Think for example of the character of Tenya. Towards the end of the tournament arc, we find out that Tenya's idol, his brother, was attacked and left for dead by the hero killer Stain. Tenya takes an internship in the city where his brother was attacked to seek out revenge. Right off the bat, we have the motivation of our hero, and knowing how prideful Tenya is, we wind up rooting for him when he goes up against Stain. It's not just because of the fact that Tenya is a hero, but because there's a sense of weight to it. There's personal stakes that are involved. This is where My Hero Academia excels at. It gives us fights that have moments of great scale and spectacle, but also have tremendous amount of weight to them. Still don't believe me? Let's take a look at the epic fight of All Might vs. Nomu. Our heroes are undergoing a training exercise when they're ambushed by Shigaraki. Things look grim for our heroes until All Might shows up and basically delivers one of the greatest ass beatings of the last summer anime season. This moment is important for a number of reasons. First, we have never seen All Might go all out on an opponent. Yes, we have gotten hints of it, but to really see how powerful the character is, and realize that he was once even stronger before he was injured, serves to show the audience just how powerful Midoriya can become one day. What this scene also gives us is a sense of tension. You see, because All Might's injuries, he has a time limit to how long he can use his powers. All Might states that he has about a minute left towards the end of the fight. This leads the character to give it all, and he pushes himself beyond his current limit, proving to himself that he is still the #1 superhero. Perhaps one of the more interesting aspects of My Hero Academia that I really don't see a lot of people talking about is just how much that it takes from one of the greatest period in comics, the Silver Age. Take the soundtrack for example. From somber moments to triumphant trumpets, the soundtrack to the anime of My Hero Academia is pure ear candy. Composed by Yuki Hayashi, the soundtrack of My Hero Academia complements the anime perfectly. There are moments of sadness, moments of triumph, but perhaps my favorite one of these songs is the All Might theme song. There's something about this that feels like classic John Williams Superman. It gives a sense of hope and harkens back to a time when Superman and superheroes were truly great, which actually kind of makes sense since the mangaka said that All Might was inspired by traditional American Silver Age comics. However, it's not just All Might that has this feel to him, a few of the side characters do as well. Take this little hornball for example, Mineta. His power? He can throw really sticky balls at villains. Judging by the look of this guy, if you were to place him in the 70s, he would probably be something akin to Stiltman and would be getting his ass beat by the good guys. There are tons of heroes that are designed like this, and they have tons of quirks that seem like they would be at home in a classic Fantastic Four comic. This is one of the key things that keeps My Hero Academia so fresh. The vast amount of heroes and powers are staggering. Some of them are really great, and others, well, ball guy. It's the fact that when we're introduced to new characters, we instantly have this thought of, I wonder what this guy can do, that makes me so excited to see what's next around the corner. By now it's no secret that I love this book, and if you haven't checked out My Hero Academia, I implore you to do so. It's such a fun and uplifting series, and you really owe it to yourself to check it out if you haven't. This is one of those books that when I do the end of my year list, it's definitely going at the top of my pile. The amount of awesome characters, the soundtrack to the anime, the fantastic tournament arc, all culminate into one of my favorite reads of the year, and it's one hell of a great time. Guys, if this is your first time checking out my channel, I do weekly reviews of hardcovers, trade paperbacks, and things like this. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. If you want to support this channel, Patreon is found in the description. And if you like this book and you want to go ahead and purchase the first volume of My Hero Academia or even the Blu-ray, follow the link down below in the description. I get a cut of it if you do go through that description, and it doesn't come out of your wallet. It comes out of Amazon. So please do that for me, guys. It helps support this channel. I love you guys. Have a great week. Peace out.